understand some conceptual facts about electric field lines and some of the applications of electrostatics. So the drawings using lines to represent electric fields around charged objects are very useful in visualizing field strength and direction. Since the electric field has both magnitude and direction, it is a vector. So like all vectors, the electric field can be represented by an arrow that has length proportional to its magnitude. So if you are looking at these lines, they are all electric field lines from if it's a positive charge, the electric field lines always point outwards, and if it's a negative charge, the vectorial representation of the electric field lines is towards the negative charge. And the density of these lines will increase if the strength of the charges, if the magnitude of the charge increases, the number of lines will also increase. If the magnitude of the charge is lesser, then the number of lines will also be less. So like all vectors, the electric field can be represented by an arrow, and the direction represents the direction in which the electric field is acting. So these are the two diagrams that show the positive direction of electric field for positive and negative charges. So if we have in the vicinity two positive charges or two negative charges, or a positive and a negative charge, which is of equal magnitude, it comprises of a dipole. Then the two negative charges produce the fields as are shown this way. The picture or representation of the vector is such that wherever the field is strong, the density of the lines is stronger, and wherever the field is weaker, you will see the lines are dispersing off. So this is the region of almost zero electric field, because the electric field lines are diverging from there because of the electric force of repulsion. Two negative charges produce the fields that show the diverging electric field lines that are pointed inwards, because both of them are negative charges. It is very similar to field produced by two positive charges. If instead of negative charge I had a positive charge, we would see a similar electric field, except the arrows would be pointed outwards. If we had two positive charges, we would have similar lines, except the arrows would be pointing out instead of in, but the shape and structure of the lines would be just same. Here is an example of an electric dipole where the magnitude of the charges are same, plus q and a minus q. So as many number of lines that are emerging from positive and entering into negative are equal. So for example, if there were 12 lines emerging from positive q, 12 lines must enter the negative q charge. The number of field lines starting or on a positive or a negative charge is proportional to the magnitude of the charge. The electric field is stronger where the field lines are closer together, as we already understood this. So in this case, we have a minus q charge and a plus 2q charge. So plus 2q charge is double of in magnitude of q. So if there are number of lines from q are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines are entering q, then 12 lines must emerge from your plus 2q, because it's double that of q. So let's start counting how many lines are emerging out of plus 2q. So if we start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is common sense. If 6 lines are entering minus q, then 12 double of 2q will be 12. That's what is emerging out of plus 2q. So this is an electric dipole which has two equal charges of a same magnitude but opposite direction, and the electric field lines start from plus and converge at minus q. This is an example of a uniform electric field. The electric field between two closely spaced oppositely charged parallel lines is constant. So if we see the middle part of this is very straight, but as we move towards the corners, the electric field kind of loses its linearity because of the corners. At the corners, we have electric fields will be curving outwards, but wherever we have these two straight electrodes, the middle of these will be more uniform. Hence, the electric field here is uniform. It starts from positive and ends at negative, just like we know that the electric field lines emerge from E and end at negative if we encounter a negative charge. So this is also an example of a parallel plate capacitor in electricity. These such type of charges are held by capacitors. So we will be studying about these very soon. So this is just all of these pictures of a dipole of repulsive forces between two equal magnitude charges, either for plus or minus. And if we have one charge is minus q and the other is double 2q, then what the structure looks like. And this is the uniform electric field created at the center, mostly at the center, while as the uniformity is lost as we kind of reach the terminal where the electric field lines can be meet the sharp edges, and the electric field lines are traced differently around these. So field lines indicate the direction of the field. The field is tangent to the line. The magnitude of the field is proportional to the density of the lines, and field lines start on positive charges and end on negative charges. The number is proportional to the magnitude of the charge. Some electric fields show static electric field inside the conductor. So if there is a hollow sphere and charge is dumped on it, or if it is charged, the electric field inside is always zero. So if this is a ring or which is charged, but the inside of the ring will be, the field at the very center is zero. Or if we have a sphere, which is hollow inside, but it's a metallic sphere which was positively charged, then the inside there we have electric field as zero, because the charges rest on the surface. There are no charges inside the cavity. And similarly, same for this conductor as well. One of the most important topics conceptually to understand is the importance of electric forces and electrostatics in biology. And classical electrostatics has an important role to play in modern molecular biology. Large molecules such as proteins, nucleic acids, and so on, are very important for life, are usually electrically charged. And the DNA itself is highly charged. It is the electrostatic force that not only holds the molecules together, but also gives the molecular structure and strength. This is a schematic of a DNA double helix, where we know that it's the DNA double helix shows the two coiled strands, each containing a row of nitrogenous bases, which code the genetic information needed by a living organism. So it's a highly chemical and electrostatic in nature. So that's where the use of, or the understanding of electrostatics can be helpful in biology as well. And so there's some information about AT and GC nucleotide bases attract each other through electrostatic forces within the DNA. And So it's an interesting subject for going through the study of the structure and functioning of a living cell at molecular level is known as molecular biology. So students taking molecular biology will definitely study the structure, and it's partly chemistry and partly physics in there. It is an important area for application of physics, especially application of electrostatics. The interior of every biological cell is mainly water. So we can imagine a cell as a thick soup of molecules continually in motion. That means there's kinetic energy involved, colliding with one another with various amounts of kinetic energy. And these molecules interact with one another because of the electrostatic force between the molecules. So that indeed, cellular molecular processes are now considered to be the result of random molecular motion plus the ordering effect of electrostatic force. Um, the genetic information that is passed on from generation to generation in all living cells is contained in the chromosomes, which are made up of genes. Each gene contains the information needed to produce a particular type of protein molecule, and that information is built into the principal molecule of a chromosome. So DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, these molecules are made up of many small molecules known as nucleotide bases, which are each polar due to unequal sharing of electrons. So there are actually four types of nucleotide bases in DNA: adenine, cytosine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. So A, C, G, and T. So I think A, C, G, and T, and some of the biology students may already be well versed with this, and it's an interesting topic. The DNA of a chromosome generally consists of two long DNA strands wrapped in the form of a helix that we already saw, and the genetic information is contained in the specific order of four bases A, C, G, and T along each strand. So they get these A, C, G, and T are ordered in a certain way, and this important ordering effect occurs because the shapes of A, T, C, and G are such that a T fits closely only into an A, and G fits closely to C. So all of this is a part of molecular biology. The other application of electrostatics is when we talk about Van de Graaff generator and you must have seen Van de Graaff generators in labs and all. And if you have seen some museums, for example, in Boston, we have Science Museum where there's a very big Van de Graaff generator, which where you can watch the display of electrostatic show. So the basic construction is there is a dome, of metallic dome, which is on the top, and a battery A supplies excess positive charge to the pointed conductor, and the points of which spray the charges onto the moving insulating belt. So there's a pointing conductor here, and it sprays these charges to the belts, and the belts are connected to the dome, so they kind of transfer the charges up there. So the pointed conductor on top in the large sphere picks up the charge, and the induced electric field at points is so large that it removes the charge from the belt. This can be done because the charge does not remain inside the conducting sphere but moves to its outer sphere. So no charge stays here. It goes to the exterior shell of the conductor, which is the dome. An ion source inside the sphere produces positive ions, which are accelerated away from the positive sphere to high velocities. This is a high voltage Van de Graaff generator, which creates strong electric fields in the vicinity of Faraday cage. So all the charges rest in the outside of the cage, and that's why the person sitting inside does not get electrocuted if he touches from the inside surface, but the charges get dumped on the outside. And that's why it is very it's it's important to stay inside the car if you are in an open field and the lightning strikes. So it's very dangerous to be outside. You are safest inside the car because the charges are resting on the outside of the car, and inside the car the electric field is zero, so you won't be electrocuted or anything. So being in an open field where if the clouds are positive, the earth being negative, an electric field is created. So if you are in an open, if the lightning is striking, if you are in open area, you are exposed to millions of volts of shock if the lightning strikes there. So even if millions of volts of lightning bolt strikes, but you are safe inside a car. Just like in the Faraday cage, you are safer. So Museum of Science Boston has a very good show, an electric show, with the help of these Van de Graaff generators and Faraday cage. Other application of electrostatics is zerography, and it's because of this we are able to make several copies of the sheets. Zerography is a dry copying process based on electrostatics. The major steps in the process are charging the photoconducting drum, transfer of an image creating a positive charge duplicate, attraction of toner to the charged parts of the drum, and then transfer of toner to the paper. So not shown are heat treatment of the paper and cleansing of drum for the next copy. So it's not shown here. But basically it's the electrostatics. First stage is charging the drum, and charging the drum means you are generating, you're getting it ready for charging by having charges on it. Second stage is positive image made on the drum of whatever paper was inserted, toner attracted to image, and the last stage is toner is pulled from the drum by highly charged paper. So it gets imprinted on whatever copy was made is getting printed or copied on the blank paper. Laser printers. In a laser printer, a laser beam is scanned across a photoconducting drum, leaving a positive charge image. The other steps of charging the drum and transferring the image to paper are the same as zerography. So laser light can be very precisely controlled, and hence the printing is much better than the zerography, enabling the laser printers to produce very high quality images, but they are expensive as well. Other application of electrostatics is smoke precipitation, and schematic of this is shown here. As air is passed through grids of opposite charge, the first grid charges airborne particles, while the second attracts and collects them. And this is a plant that shows the dramatic effect of electrostatic precipitators is seen by the absence of smoke from this power plant. So it's a precautionary measure for the environment. In big power plants, these smoke precipitators actually eat up the smoke. So summarizing the chapter 16 now, there are two kinds of electric charges, positive and negative, and we worked on Coulomb's law. We found out how to find the force between the two charges, and we also learned about that electrons are free to move in conductors and not in insulators and non-conductors. And then we learned about the formula for force, Coulomb's force. And then we also learned about electric field, which is force per unit charge, and we worked on some of the problems. Electric field of a point charge is also given. E is kq over r square. And electric field can actually be graphically represented by lines, which we call electric field lines. For a positive charge, the electric field lines points away, and for the negative charge, the electric field lines point towards the negative charge.